So, do I get a roll call? I'm here, Leota.
Are you here? Yes, I am here.
Kelly.
I'm here.
Okay. Can I get an approval for November 2024 meeting, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Good to know. Moving on.
Could you please,
So next on our
Chair, could you
What?
please take the vote? We had a motion in a second. Could you take the vote, please?
Okay. I'm here. Leota is here.
No, for the
Kelly's
meeting
here.
minutes, all those in favor of the meeting minutes, we have to vote on that.
Okay. All those in favor of the November 12, 2024 meeting, please say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I thought that was by default, but oh well. So moving on the agenda, we have item number 4, software licensing service agreement with our 365 Labs on behalf of the Thurston County Law Enforcement Record Management System Consortium. Police Department.
I will be handling that. Good morning, council members. I'm Laura Wool of the Police Department, and I apologize for being so far away, but I'm playing 2 roles today, also managing the Zoom meeting, but also presenting this item, so bear with me. Before you today is a contract for a law enforcement records management and jails management system. Those are also known as JMS or RMS. Let me first start by explaining why this contract is before the Tumwater City Council. Tumwater is part of a consortium that includes the local law enforcement agencies of Thurston County, so all 5 cities and the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. The consortium was established by an intergovernmental agreement, and it's a quasi-governmental agency. The IGA outlines the governance and administration of the consortium. The governance is an executive board, and the executive board is made up of all the executives of the different law enforcement agencies. So that would be the chiefs of police and the sheriff. The board, every 3 years, appoints a lead agency, and the lead agency acts as the business agent for the consortium. So as such, they're in charge of managing the records, doing the accounting, and also handling things like contracting. So the board appointed Tumwater to be the lead agency 2 years ago. So that's why this is before the Tumwater City Council. Because we need to run through Tumwater's contracting process. So with that in mind, let me tell you about the contract. The cities currently use a system that they contracted for back in 2011. We implemented in 2013. That system is out of date and it's old. And in addition to that, the vendor who owns the system merged with another vendor in 2019. And at that point, they decided not to continue to develop the system that we're using. So while it's nominally supported, we're not getting any upgrades to it. So there's no hope that it's going to get better in the future. At the same time, the sheriff's office has been on its system for over 20 years. It wasn't even designed to be a records management system for law enforcement. It was designed to be a jail management system. So, and their product is completely unsupported. So they are living on borrowed time, so to speak, before they have a catastrophic failure. So we decided as a consortium, the board directed us to move forward with contracting for a new RMS. And while it had originally been the cities in the consortium, the Thurston County Sheriff's Office joined us in 2022 so that all of the local jurisdictions, law enforcement could share a records management system. We share for a couple reasons. The biggest reason is so that we can share data and information across the entire county. We all know that criminals do not act only within a certain city's borders. And so it's really important for us to be able to share information from jurisdiction to jurisdiction about what's going on in with criminal activity. That allows us to be much more proactive in our policing. The other reason is that these systems are really expensive because the amount of data that we are required to collect and the records that we are required to maintain, both for the criminal justice system, but also according to state and federal regulations, is vast. So the complexity of the systems make them very expensive. So one of the other benefits to joining together is that we get to share that cost. So in 2022, the board directed the agencies to go forward and find a new system. Tumwater, as the lead agency, took the lead, so to speak, on that. And we published an RFP in 2023. We had 3 vendors reply, and all 3 vendors met the minimum requirements. So we invited all 3 vendors to give us demonstrations. They came here to Thurston County and gave us demonstrations over several days of what their products could do. By the end of those demonstrations, it became abundantly clear that 365 Labs was by far the best product. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One reason is that 365 Labs is completely web-based. So that means that our officers can access the system wherever they are. In the field or in the station, they can easily access it. It also cuts down dramatically on our maintenance and our maintenance costs, because 365 Labs handles all the maintenance of the system. More importantly, the functionality of the system is it is state of the art. It is very configurable. It is completely designed to interface with Microsoft products. So that means all of the other products that we use, Microsoft Office, the variety of things that we're all familiar with in the business place, interact seamlessly with 365 Labs. That also has the advantage of 365 Labs remaining current, because Microsoft is Microsoft. It's the giant in the industry. We don't see it going away. And by designing to Microsoft's products and standards, 365 Labs must keep up and remain state of the art. Additionally, they operate on the most secure cloud storage, which to us is, of course, very important to make sure that our data is secure, and also that it remains supported should there be outages and such like that. So after seeing 365 Labs in a demo environment, a group of employees from the consortium made up of officers, record staff, supervisors, managers, whole group went down to 365 Labs headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and spent some time speaking with staff and management and developers to learn more about the product and what their philosophy was in terms of customer service. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about the product itself, but most importantly, we learned a lot about the business. And that gave us a lot of confidence that we could expect good customer service as well as a good product. While we were there, we were also able to visit with 3 different current customers of 365 Labs, one of which is a major county. In fact, the county within Baton Rouge is within, who is also a consortium that has a sheriff in multiple municipal jurisdictions. So that was great. We could talk with a current customer who could tell us what their experience was with a situation that was very similar to ours. The other real big benefit with that was that we were able to actually see the product in action. So when we went to the sheriff's office and got the demo from the sheriff's office, they were able to show us in real time how it works. So that gave us a lot of confidence that we weren't just seeing a product that the vendor was showing us that may or may not actually work when it's in the field. And all 3 of the customers were very positive, both about the product and about the customer service they received. So when we got back from that, we contracted with National Public Service Safety Group, which is a group that provides project management specifically for law enforcement technology. And they're very familiar with all of the RMS, JMS vendors, the major ones in the country, including 365 Labs. So they became our project managers. They helped us negotiate the contract, write the contract, and then the contract came to Tumwater City Attorney's Office to review and make sure it met all of our needs. So that happened. Our attorneys took it through its paces and made sure it met all of our needs. The attorneys from the other jurisdictions also reviewed it, and that is what is before you today. The contract is a 5-year contract. The first year, the cost is about $1.4 million, again, shared between the 6 jurisdictions. The share is divided in terms of population for each jurisdiction. And then the remaining 4 years, the cost varies a little bit year to year, but it's about $1 million a year. So that is what we have before you today that I'm hoping you will move to council for approval.
Leah?
Thank you, Peter. Laura, so I'm looking in the thing. Tell me what I'm missing, obviously. So I see the percentage is 8.93%. So what is the budgetary impact to Tumwater in a dollar amount?
In a dollar amount, the impact to Tumwater is, hold on. For the first year, it's going to be $305,038.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I would say that amount also includes our current system. So for the first year, we're going to be paying for 365 Labs partially as we go through the project, as well as continuing to pay our maintenance on our current system. So for 365 Labs by itself, our portion is, let's see, $48,000.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, Peter, I'm in support of this, so I don't have any other questions.
Well, I have a question here. So I'm reading the physical note on item number 5, and it says that there's a 5% increase per year. So my question is that 5% for administrative costs?
I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
The 5% increase per year on the physical note, is that for administrative costs, or what is that for?
That's for the cost for 365 Labs, for the inflation that they usually experience, mainly based on their personnel costs.
So they've been doing this for 20 years, right?
No, 365 Labs has only been in existence, has only been doing this for about 10 years.
10 years, but it says here something about 20 years. So, okay, it's neither here nor there. So the 5% increase, and they've been in existence for 10 years, you say? So how are they able to calculate the 5% per year when they've only been in existence for 10 years?
I think they're
Did
probably
they-
basing that on industry standard, which is what we currently pay. I know on the system we currently have, there's a 5% increase each year. So that would be my guess.
Okay, so you're saying that's standard, right? Okay. All right. I don't have any more questions. Kelly, you have questions? You have any? No? Okay.
I'd like
so then-
to move to, sorry, I'm trying to think. I'd like to move to place the agreement with 365 Labs on the January 21st, 2025 City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second.
So do I get a vote on this?
Oh, I'm in favor, yes.
Same, yes.
Me too. Okay. So that item will be moved forward, pass.
Thank you.
So item number 5 is also it's an interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia for fire vehicle maintenance, fire department.
Yeah, good morning, council members. Sean Coons, Deputy Fire Chief for the Fire Department. I'm going to share my screen, hopefully. You guys. Can everybody see that? Hey, we're off and running in 2025. This is good. So I get the privilege of talking about an interlocal agreement with our vehicle repair facility that Olympia Fire helps run for us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. So the VRF, or the Vehicle Repair Facility, it's a facility that operates and works on both fire and emergency medical services apparatus. Currently, it is located at Fire Station 34, which is actually a Lacey Fire Department property. So they actually partner with Lacey Fire for the property and the building, while Olympia actually supplies the staff and the mechanics for the vehicle repair facility. It's actually, so Station 34 isn't right next to the rack for anybody that's looking for any context. Tumwater Fire was actually one of the very first customers to participate in this repair facility way back in the day. Used to have one bay down at the headquarters fire station, Station 01 in downtown Olympia. Currently, the VRF Vehicle Repair Facility has a total of around 9 customers, which most of them are within Thurston County. They also do have some from, I believe, Mason County and maybe even Grace Harbor County that use them for their apparatus maintenance. And like I already talked, kind of a partnership with Olympia and Lacey. The services that the VRF provide, they do our regular maintenance for all of our fire engines and our medic units, which includes our annual pump testing. So every year we have to go through a pump test to make sure that water gets from the fire hydrant or wherever out, through our hose and be able to suppress a fire, right? So they're the ones that actually go out and do this annual testing for us. They also help facilitate some larger projects. As you guys may be aware, our apparatus are getting a little older. And so with that becomes some larger projects. We've had to do some replacement of axles and transmissions. And so if they aren't able to do that, they actually will be the ones that facilitate the working with other vendors to make sure that that work is getting done. They do have a lot of parts and supplies on site, which makes it much more quicker and efficient for all of us. They also are they assist us with any apparatus procurement. So our new fire engine that, knock on wood, should be here next year sometime. They will be going back with us to help with the pre-build, making sure everything looks right. So they're very collaborative with our buying of our apparatus. They do not work on our staff vehicles, so that our staff vehicles would be our chief rigs, those types of SUVs. Those apparatus are actually worked on by our city mechanics. One big benefit and one requirement for working on our fire engines or any fire engine is they need to be credentialed mechanics, which all of the mechanics at the VRF are all credentialed to work on fire apparatus. You see the industry rates down there for the VRF, very competitive. They recently did do a little bit of an increase, but that's the first time they've done an increase in 5 to 10 years at least. So, but still very, very competitive. And once again, one of the main benefits is it's here local. We have a great relationship and they're able to come pick our apparatus up. And with that, that's all I have for you on this fine morning. So just looking for, hoping you will place this interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia on the January 21 City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign. So happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
I don't have a question. Deanna, do you?
Yeah, just, thinking about the trends of, could you just remind us the benefits of what you decide to outsource and what you decide to keep in-house? What are the benefits?
Yeah, are you talking as far as whether the shop does the work or if they have to send it out?
Right.
A lot of it's just dependent on their capabilities, right? And they do have almost all the stuff they are able to do there. There is some stuff, especially with our newer engines. So for example, when engine T2 is our newest fire engine, if it's under warranty, they may send that out to a contractor that Hughes Fire is the people that we buy our fire engines from. So they may send that out for warranty work, but otherwise 90+% of the service is done at the vehicle repair facility.
As they increase their customers, are we seeing any lag time of our service?
Not necessarily. So going back to that picture, so at the first picture that I showed, they just recently here in the last 4 or 5 months have a new shop there on site, which has certainly helped. And they've also been adding staff, more mechanics. So no, we have pretty rapid response. The other really beneficial thing for us is they are available 24/7. So we have had several incidents. We actually had an incident a couple months ago where our fire engine blew a radiator hose on the scene of a fire, and the mechanic was able to come switch the hose out and really keep the rig in service the entire time, which is a huge benefit for us.
Yeah, that's a good example. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Peter, I don't have any more questions. I'm in support of this.
Okay. Kelly, do you have a question? No?
We don't. I think I'd like to move to place the interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia for fire vehicle maintenance on the January 21st City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
All right, get a vote.
Yes.
Yes. So the item passes.
Thank you.
So we're down to item number 6. Also an interlocal agreement for Tustin County Emergency Management Council Fire Department.
Good morning. I will share my screen here. All right, is everyone able to see that? Just making sure. Okay, again, off to a great 2025 start then. So I just wanted to speak a bit this morning about our interlocal agreement for the Emergency Management Council here in the county. And Councilmember Von Holtz had a couple questions about really about wildfires as well. And at the end of this presentation, I've added on some slides related to that. So please bear with me here. Just some items about the agreement and what the Emergency Management Council does. Really, the council addresses, tries to bring everybody together and coordinate efforts in the county related to emergency management, and following really the items in the national response framework, such as preparation, mitigation, response, and recovery. That's really the sum total of what the council tries to coordinate within the county. Who are the member agencies? Thurston County, the cities in the county, 2 of the tribes at this time, but there are also many partner agencies that participate in the meetings. As you can imagine, emergency management activities cross a wide swath of agencies, not just fire, law enforcement, public health, Puget Sound Energy, Intercity Transit, LOT, DOT. We have Evergreen State College, South Sound participate, the hospitals, the PUD, et cetera. So a number of partner agencies also attend meetings of the Emergency Management Council. The council meets once a month, and really we have updates from the members and partner organizations, discussion of issues of common concern, and really to share information about emergency management and planning activities within the county. Activities are coordinated with the Homeland Security Region 3 group, which is the regional group that helps coordinate a lot of the grant activities and grant funding in the county. And certainly Thurston County and the agencies collaborate with regards to emergency management planning. For example, updates of comprehensive emergency management plans, hazard mitigation plans that we're going to talk about here in a little bit as well. Also put on 2 executive seminars each year, and I believe I've seen a number of you at those seminars, and just again try to share information in the county for elected officials and staff within the county. Also hosts the Emergency Preparedness Expo. 2 years ago, that was held here in Tumwater at Peter G. Schmidt Elementary. It was in Yelm last year, and we'll be doing that event again this year. So for this agreement, just for context, the cost of the agreement is shared amongst the member agencies, and it's a really minimal cost. We pay a little, I think around $250 a year are our membership dues for the council. But the recommended action is to place the agreement on the January 21 consent calendar for approval, authorize the mayor to sign. And this does have the note about substantially similar form. The agreement you have in the packet is the final agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions, and I'm in support.
So, Chief Ollie, can you
Yes.
please walk me through on a higher level if, for example, the fire in Los Angeles were to happen here in this local area, what our command structure and our operation will look like,
Yeah,
given this agreement?
that's sure. You know, there's a lot of different levels to that. You know, an event such as what's going on in LA, you know, that would be a regional and statewide and really national type effort. You know, here, you know, just specifically in Tumwater, we have our emergency management program, which would be stood up in the form of an operations center. We have Thurston County Emergency Management, which would, you know, be the larger organization involved. As far as the actual response to such events, you know, that's where really our mutual aid compacts come into play within the county and within the state. Resources could be mobilized through a state mobilization. The last time that happened here in Thurston County was the Bordeaux fire down in the West Thurston area several years ago. But that's where that coordination would come in. And for a larger incident, it would also involve a regional incident management team. So we have an incident management team here in the region. And as the complexity of the incident grows, incident management teams of higher levels would be requested to come in from the state and even national resources. You know, many of the large fires that happen here in the state, they end up with either state or national incident management teams running those incidents. So I realize that was a long answer, but you know, these are not, you know, these are complex incidents that require abundant resources, which, you know, takes a lot of coordination to get those resources to the incident.
Thank you very much. So, do I get a motion to move this forward?
I move to place the interlocal agreement for the Thurston County Emergency Management Council on the January 21st, 2025 City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign it.
I'll second.
All in our favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
So
thank you. Yep. I'm sorry, Councilmember.
You're
Gotti.
fine. You're fine.
All right, I after you know, Councilmember Von Holtz had reached out about some questions, very good questions about planning related to wildfires, and I added on a few slides here at the end just to try to address that. Again, this isn't a complete presentation, but certainly wanted to put some things out there as to what's been done, the work that has been done, really to address hazard mitigation. There are specific plans in place to do that. And you'll see on the left, the Thurston County kind of regional hazard mitigation plan that was coordinated by the Emergency Management Council for which you just approved the agreement. TRPC took the lead in this hazard mitigation planning, and that document is available on their website. So this addresses you know, earthquake, flood, wildfire, a whole range of different climate emergencies, heat emergencies, and the initiatives that are ongoing to address those efforts. The city also has an annex to the hazard mitigation plan with city-specific initiatives. So it's really a combination of these two that address planning with regards to hazard mitigation. I decided to put this table in there because it is from, it's included in both documents. And I'll give great credit in Tumwater to Brad Madrud and Erica Smith Erickson. They're the ones who put that document together and did an excellent job. I just wanted to point out the table that shows throughout Thurston County for 2008 through 22, really the number of acres burned in wildfires in the county. Pointing out that Tumwater, we had over that time period, less than 6 acres. I think it was around 80 some incidents total, but the areas of the county in general, it depends on how you measure it. Tumwater's risk is low to medium in the wildland fire area. You can see the large fires in Thurston County, though, typically have occurred in West Thurston, which is that Grand Mountain, Little Rock, Rochester area, Southeast Thurston, which was Yelm and Rainier, and to some degree around the Tenino area. So kind of to the south swath of the county and to the west a bit as well. I pulled out one of the initiatives out of the regional plan, and there's certainly initiatives in the city plan as well. But this is the broad community wildfire protection plan, and this is an ongoing effort. And really just highlighted there, some of the problems that are trying to be addressed: hazardous fuels management, wildfire response, hazard mitigation, community education. And again, this is a coordinated effort. It takes funding to do, and it occurs over a period of years. There are some programs in place right now, starting primarily in the West Thurston area where they have the highest risk, to help, identify and mitigate some of those issues. Here in the city, Deputy Chief Crimmins and one of our other staff members have been trained to go out and assess and help people evaluate their own home sites and what they could do to better prepare and mitigate wildfire problems. And with that, I'd say we're going to work on, with communications here, public education efforts. There are, again, a couple programs. The Wildfire Neighbor Ready program and Firewise both address kind of what you can do at home to defend yourself from wildfire. From the Firewise program, it has, certainly some really good checklists. Remember that many times fires spread through the spread of embers. It isn't direct flame impingement. So keeping your gutters clean, keeping debris away from your house. Don't have things, that could burn stacked up on your deck or under the porch. So just some reminders to clean all those areas out. And then in general, just kind of the different zones. We look at right around the home, and really the critical area is that 5 to 30 feet around a home as far as clearing debris, clearing up branches, and then certainly from there on out to wider areas to help prevent spread of fire. So stop sharing here if I can. So I just wanted to share those to say that, yes, there's planning that's ongoing. It's work that has to be funded. It's staff time that has to be in place to support it. But we can certainly do a number of those elements related to public education, especially as we get into the fire season. And really, they've identified over the last years, we've had around, roughly 7 days where we would consider it to be very extreme fire danger here in the county. And of course, we all get very nervous when that happens because we know these large fires can develop. And so, it's our job to educate the public and help them to be prepared. I'll just wrap up on encouraging people to sign up for TC Alert, Thurston County Alerts, because there is a process in place where people who have signed up can get notifications if there are issues in their area. And that system also allows for kind of geographical locating of alerts. So you can send alerts to really all the cell phones in a certain geographic area, but it helps to be signed up for those alerts as well. So again, I apologize. This is kind of a short time frame to put this together, but I did want to include some information to show the things that the city and really the region are working on with regards to hazard mitigation.
Kelly?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief. It's unfortunate when tragedies like what's happening right now in LA happen. It brings this to front of mind. And I just really wanted, I know that we're very lucky where we live. And but it's important that people know that they need to be prepared for the unexpected, and also how we need to make sure that our public safety organizations are fully funded so we can prevent tragedies from what's happening in California from happening here at home.
Yeah, I would just add, really this type of falls in the arena of community risk reduction. There are a lot of risks we identify in the community, and certainly, we have ideas here in the fire department how to hopefully grow our risk reduction program moving into the future.
So,
And that's
Chief
all,
Ollie,
that's
I
all I
have
have.
a,
Yes, go ahead.
so I was going to, the picture that you put up, about showing the yards and areas, clear areas. Does the city have or have in the past sent out informational materials to residents with that kind of picture, advising them how best to prevent fires?
In my time as fire chief, I don't recall sending out, we've posted on social media and had some materials available on the city website, but haven't done necessarily a public education campaign. I certainly think now with the growth of our social media channels and our city website, we will be doing efforts to educate the public. And I think we have great communication staff here in the city and great resources. So I believe we can push out these kind of materials to our community.
Thank you. Good to know. I don't have any more comments. Thank you, Chief. So, do I get, we've already voted on this to move it to this, to full council, right? Okay, so that's done. So item number 7 is additional items.
Yeah, Chair, I had just something. I'm gonna keep going. So there were some emails regarding body worn cameras and an agenda item for February. So I just wanted to circle back to that. There's over the course of the years being on council and the police researching, identifying all the elements, all the inputs, outputs. That's what I'm looking for in February, is for us to get a comprehensive view of what it's going to take for Tumwater, right? So we've seen elements in the budget. We've heard from our chief and our deputy chief and Dr. Bowers, right? So can we just start fresh in 2025 and pull that together to show all the different elements and a perspective timeline? There was a timeline in the budget, but really break it down a little bit more. Like, how are you tracking all these pieces and how can public health and safety support you moving forward? So that would include for me examples of any cooperators or bundling of technologies, right? And then how you're going to spread out the costs and what portion from Prop 1 funds are going to be able to use for that. So those discussions in February, just like a heads up. And then also examples of policies. What does that look like coming to public health and safety for review? And I see Lisa's face.
Good morning. Yes, so I believe that in the past, the police department management has provided sort of a generalized concept of what are the different components that have to be addressed in order to put in place and implement body-worn cameras. And I think we can absolutely bring that back. And I think we'll do our best to bring back what we understand you're asking for. And if there's further questions, absolutely we can keep talking about it. This is kind of our first step towards that specific authorized implementation, right? So I think, from my perspective, coming into this sort of mid or late in the process in terms of conversation, I believe the approval of the budget for 2025, 2026 is the actual first, yes, we are doing body-worn cameras approval. So that's a huge milestone in my mind. And so we're happy to bring that information back. This is sort of, but I guess that my point there is that this is like fresh start. We're now in an actual implementation process as opposed to an evaluative, alternatives approach kind of a scenario. So we can bring
Perfect.
back those components. We can put a general timeline to those, that it's a little bit more, hopefully maybe a little bit more detailed than what you've seen before. I think there are a lot of, there are a lot of moving parts and pieces and a lot of things that are going to have to fit together. And there are different pressures in terms of time for the police department, not the least of which is the LERMS program that you just heard about this morning from Laura. That's a hugely impactful in terms of the amount of time devoted that needs to be devoted in order to get that thing up and running and in place. So absolutely, we will bring that information to you. And I guess what I would say is, we're interested in continuing to hear where you might like more information and recognizing that this is, day one essentially of the actual implementation program development and task and program. So it will be having lots of conversations, I think, about this. I think in terms of policies, I would have to defer to either Chief Wicks or Deputy Chief Mason, but I believe, that there's technical decisions that have to be made, and then there are policy decisions that have to be made. And I don't know specifically how those fit together. And all I would say is we may not be, before Chief takes off here, we may not be in a position to give you a whole bunch of example policies in February.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just, over the years, Chief has, whenever it's come up an agenda item, like a sliver here, a sliver there. So now that we're moving forward, what does that actually look like and updated? So to just pull it all together so that we understand better and you, frankly, manage my expectations. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
All righty then, that was quite a lead in. I think you'll see everything come together in February, not with policy because that's kind of an end product. But I
Right.
think you'll see the timeline and all the moving parts that will
Perfect.
then lead into the policy, from community involvement to guild involvement. There's a lot of things that will go into the development of the policy, but
Right.
you should see that through the presentation next month.
Awesome. It's just because if we're getting questions, right? And there's so many pieces, right? And the puzzle pieces that the police is working on just helps us, again, Chief, to manage my expectations, right? Of all the pieces and better understand the complexity.
Yeah, you'll see the complexity, and we'll try to show you, just like we have always, give you all the information,
Right.
and see all the moving parts.
I dig it. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
And thank you, Lisa. That's all I had.
So on that note, I think I figured out where my video graphic is not working. I had a software update and it asked me to sign in, but I don't have the permission to do that. That would be someone that's our IT, Lance, that could do that. So I'll make sure I talk to Lance before our meeting tonight.
For tonight.
Yes. So
Thank you, Chair.
on that note, do we have any additional item?
No, I'm good.
Oh, wow, this is breezy. I think we're done.
Thank you, everyone.
I will see you guys tonight. Have a good day.